All right, it's the start of the third podcast. Come on and meet the gang.
Avery,
Johnny,
Babu, Oren,
Leon.
and we're
the
CollantsCast.
Hey folks, welcome back to the third episode of the CollantsCast.
great start.
All right, go ahead, Isaiah. You got it. Keep going.
So today, we've got a lot of stories in for you, but this one's athletic related. Now, as quarantine's coming to an end, gyms are opening up, you can get back to working out. It's one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, man, I really miss working out, man.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm just losing all those gains. Losing
I've turned
the clout
into a
too.
twig now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Me too. My
You're
arms
already
feel
a
like
twig.
absolute jelly. No,
You're
I was
already-
like a twig with some knots, a couple bumps, but
I'll
like
give you that.
I'm shaved now. I'm
Bit of
shaved.
curve to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
No,
you're
I think
shaved
we've all
now?
gone from
Well,
carbon
yeah,
to
you know,
jelly.
What do you
Never mind.
mean by you're shaved? Okay.
like a
I thought
twig.
you only comb it neatly.
Like,
Yeah, I won't bring that up. Right.
nah, like a twig. Like
Yes.
if you shave it, then it's smooth.
You're
I'm
okay.
just-
Okay,
I'm just
okay,
gonna
okay.
I'm sure you're smooth, Avery. I'm sure you're smooth.
I'm just gonna stop.
Okay, Isaiah, you want to keep going?
So anyway, I hope all you listeners are ready for this new podcast. Thank you so much for the support on our last podcast, and
Amen.
we'll just get right into it. So
Right into it.
looking back over quarantine, it's been kind of tough not being able to go to a gym. It just has me reminiscing on some of the old times, at Guilford Rec, seeing people get arrested,
Yep.
cops there every week,
Mm.
working out in the middle, you hear someone scream, "Ah!" And then you look
It's
back.
like I'm really there.
My favorite part though was just I finished my set. Avery goes to lift, bench. He's not lifting much weight though, so let's just clarify that. And I go to drink water. So I'm turning around. This happens multiple times. I turn around to see Avery, and he screams, "Help! Someone!"
Yeah, I'm just down. I'm like, hey, I could use a little help here. I'm just like looking around with the bar on top of my chest, and
No.
just fighting to not be crushed.
First few times,
But
I
like,
help him off.
it's not much weight though, so like, it's like
It's
I can
never over
have
100 pounds.
I can have it on top of my chest, and I just like have it sit there. Like it doesn't hurt or anything.
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
just
sure.
a little bit embarrassing.
This has happened many times. Most of the time, we pull it off Avery, but one time, I got really mad.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "No, Avery, you're gonna lift it off yourself."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can't.
I was trying. My face was getting so red, and Liam's like, "Oh, okay, come on, let's let him up. This is cruel." And then Isaiah's like, "Nope." then
Twisting his hands together,
Yeah.
an evil smile.
And then I just gave up and just let go, and it just sat on top of me until like finally they.
I remember
picked it up.
I'd never really get mad at you that much for like your blunders in the gym, but I remember the one time that you failed on bench and the bar was on your chest, and instead of like letting us help you get it up, you decided to do a sit up with the bar still on your chest.
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
That was so
remember.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm.
Big mistake.
That was probably
I-
your dumbest one.
I like sat up and then tried to curl it. It was, not the smartest idea, but
You
Yeah.
became a man. You're still here. All right.
No, Avery had a lot of those blunders in the gym. There's times he'd be lifting and he'd just be lifting weights. He gets in the way of someone. And these guys are huge, right? And he'll be lifting or he goes to grab weights and someone else is using them.
Yeah.
There was a time someone was benching on the Smith machine or squatting or something. And Avery goes and gets a plate and just takes it right off their bar.
oh yeah.
While they're
I
still
didn't
working.
think I didn't think they were using it though, and then I just
And it was
I
unbalanced.
picked it up.
Or that.
I think it was like a 25, so
Yeah,
I
it was
can only imagine if they went up and just totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
died
Oh.
out there.
Oh, Avery. I only came to the gym once, but Avery was still far stronger than me, so I have to give him props
I don't
there.
think so.
He's not completely a twig. I just did the bar. I couldn't take anymore. But as soon as I came there, Isaiah had me do some stuff on the machine, and I was sore for a week afterwards because I didn't have any warm up. Which
Yeah,
is very nice.
yeah. Well,
You still got the
Basically, our warm up
experience.
is just going into the sauna.
that used to be no,
Mm.
no. We do not do that anymore. That
Yeah.
was like when we were like thinking, oh, starting to get sweated up is good. No,
I remember I hated that because I felt so bad. Like I felt so hot and sweaty. Like it felt like I was done at workout already.
it helped me a bit, but it did not help me to get my full potential. Basically, when you're working out, the best thing to do is open up your muscles with light weight. You know, not like stretching doesn't necessarily always help. It does in some things, but what you want to do is you want to go easy and just make sure your blood is pumping.
Basically, you just want to get the muscle warmed up and ready, because if you're going in raw, it won't always be good, and you won't always reach your full potential.
Exactly. I mean, we've had. Oh, it's not just Avery that's had blunders in the gym. I've also had some issues now.
Impossible.
Well, believe it or not, Mr. Perfect, me in the gym. I've had some.
Wow.
So there was
The
this one.
Bollywood man.
Well,
Brawny Babu has his own problems.
yeah. So this was one time. We were in the gym. It was about a year ago. I'd say it was in the summer, right? Yeah, it was in the summer of 2019, and I go to grab 40-pound dumbbells to bench, and as I do, there's this huge guy. He grabs them right before me, looks at me. He's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "No, nothing." He's like, "What? You wanted him?" I'm like, "I was gonna get him." He's like, "Stop looking at me." So I just walk away. I go sit down. I'm like, "This guy's a bit, not okay." And then I'm just like looking for another weight because there wasn't any weight in that range. He does some like curls, like he's like throwing his arms, doing some curls, and then he's finished his like 5 reps. Comes, he's like throws the weights at me. I jump out of the way, and he's like, "Here you go, done with that." I'm like, "Thanks, sir." He's like, "Watch it." He was the guy was about to fight me. Like it was
What
like
a lovely man.
it was yeah, like he was like,
Despite there being some pretty like cool people at the gym, there's a fair share of some weirdos there.
meatheads. I know.
Yeah.
Big
There's a few.
roided boys.
Characters.
Also, like, okay, the amount of times like we've like made people like mad at us is like not that good.
Avery's responsible for most.
I mean,
Yeah.
Avery's responsible for most. Like he grabbed.
I can't even remember an example when that happened.
Well, there was one time where like Avery grabbed dumbbells and someone was like gonna grab them before him. We had to tell Avery, give them back to the guy. There was also like another time, so we were benching and we waited for like these guys come up like, "Oh, you guys done? Yeah, we'll be done soon." But then we start squatting, and then these guys are like, "Yo," like they got like really pissed at us, and they're like giving like cryptic threats and stuff like that, and we're like, "Whoa, calm
Cryptic
down."
threats.
Written in code.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Also, I mean, that's not the craziest thing that happened. There's this one time, everyone else had finished going to the gym, but I still had some time before I was going. So I was doing a set on the leg press, and I see these police. Like, I go to get water first. I see like a bunch of police like in the hallway, around the change room, and then as I go to do my set on the leg press, I see this guy on a bike, and then there's like 4 cops around him. So it's
On
that
his
bad.
bike in the gym?
on the bike in. Kate,
He's riding around in there.
on the cycle, like,
Catch me.
like the exercise machine.
I see.
No, okay.
Yes. And then there's 4 cops there, not a big deal. Then about 2 or 3 more come in. They're all surrounding him, asking him to leave. I had no idea what's going on. All these huge guys are around him, like back behind, like just like everyone has their phone out recording the thing. And then they ask him to leave. The guy's like, no. Then he gets up, and all the police officers like tackle him. It was like a huge dog pile. I'm just like
Oh,
there
man.
cowering behind two big black guys. It's like my phone peeking out, like, cause I'm like, what's gonna happen to me? I'm little, you know. So
Choked.
yes, choked.
Little Babu.
Yeah.
How
And
hard they
I mean, later I found out that guy apparently bit someone there.
fall.
Something.
Wait, what was
I thought
that?
he was riding around on his
Bit
bike.
someone.
He
I didn't
pulled
know
over, took
that.
a-
He
took a
bit someone?
bite off of someone.
Yeah.
The hungry,
Mad
hungry
bit him?
hippo.
Yeah.
He was rolling around. Didn't
Yeah.
want to get caught.
Yeah, once again, that reiterates the point of there's some weirdos at the gym.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we all do personal fitness at home now, which you can check out. Just gotta throw the plugs when we can.
Exactly.
You know,
So
TikTok, Instagram. Got a couple channels out there if you want to see boys getting sweaty. You know, feel free. No
You'll
ear
enjoy.
biting. Although, depending on what other platforms we start on later,
yeah.
maybe man, it's things you might look forward to for a different age bracket. Moving on. There's on the topic of activities and fitness, we boys have had some encounters back in the day, running around the circle and sweating our pants off, all the command of some men yelling at us, and that would be track and field. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say you're the leader. You want to take that?
I don't know if I should take it, but I just say that we've all had fair share of our mishaps in the past in these track and field events. 4 years, and every year I'd say at least one of us has grown up or had something like that.
Something bad has happened to one of us. And maybe it's
Yeah.
not always an accident, though.
I don't know. I mean, Avery, what do you say?
What do I say? Well, I can assure you the time that I threw up, it was an accident. I remember I had to do 200-meter dashes because the first time someone did a false start, so I had to do it again, and then I was totally gassed, and then I started feeling sick. So then I went to the next event, and then I was just not feeling good at all. And then I think I went and ate something, which probably wasn't the best idea.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, and then I kind of spilled my guts all over the place there by that event. Then a friend asked, he said, "Oh, are those strawberries?" Because it was red. And then I corrected him mid puke.
Blood.
So I was like, no cranberries, and then puked again.
Yeah.
I hated
So
track
one
and field.
thing I would like to add is a huge part of these track and field events that all the boys and kids and everyone looked forward to was there was a concession there, and we would all pig out, spend over $20 on fries, burgers, candy, all this stuff.
Ah, yes, the
slushies.
burgers, the cheesy burgers,
Yes.
And the Fweeties.
and the
So-
Forget about the
Wheaties.
Fweeties.
Good times, good times.
Good times, yeah. That might have been the reason that we all threw up or fell or had our mishaps.
It was.
Well, I
One
can
time.
say that the first time I threw up, it wasn't because of the food. It was a Slurpee that I had before, and then I'll just say I had a Slurpee before my race, and then I went to go run the 200. I run as hard as I can physically run. I win the 200-meter dash. I'm all celebrating in the stands, and then I go to take a sip from my Gatorade bottle. And 5 minutes later, total system shutdown, and my Gatorade's back all in front of me on the bleachers.
Oh dear. Oh, on the bleachers too. Oh, what grade was that?
That would be grade 6, yeah, grade 6. And then next year, I do it again, but this time it's fully intentional.
I remember this. Liam was before the event, he's I gotta throw up. I gotta do the same thing I did last time. I'm like, okay, we'll help you with that.
Out of just tradition,
Yes.
or
Oh yeah.
Just tradition, and a way to get out of all the other events that I didn't want to do.
yeah.
So yeah, I had the sugary drinks and stuff before, and then ran as hard as I possibly could, puke, and a tradition Trishan still lives. Well, haven't gone to track and field in a while, but
Yeah.
Let me
It's
just
been a
say,
while.
Did you
puke
win
was
that time
just
around?
blue. The puke was
no,
just
I think I came second that time. The next year after that, I was like not even trained to do it. Like there was no training. It was just I remember like the PE teacher in grade 8 was like, "Oh, we need extra people at the track and
Oh, yeah, I
field meet."
remember that.
So I signed up and went with a few friends, and then like just for the fun of it. And I remember just throwing up after coming last in the 200-meter race. Didn't even care, and then just puked. And
that was a horrific. Like
I remember
none of us did
walking
good
to
in any
the
of the
skate
events.
park after, and just spending the rest of the day at the skate park while the track and field events were still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I may not have enjoyed being out on the track, but when I was Usain Bolt out there. I won almost every race there was.
Every time.
Except for some. I think Joey beat me once on the 100-meter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
He
so
was so happy about that.
I would say like the younger grades like grade like 4, 5, and 6 like people like Torin, just natural runners won like all the races. But then I remember grade 7, it was like the only time I actually started doing good. So like I was tall, yeah, believe it or not, I was tall for
Yeah.
once, and that was the only year I won all the races, or at least got like higher than second. So I felt good about myself, and then of course I didn't.
Mhm.
But I mean, compared to like something in grade 5 when I like tripped on the track and then threw up.
Ah, yes.
That sounds a bit awful. I remember, one time, because I had like somewhat kind of had asthma, so like every time I'd run for like a minute straight, I'd be wheezing and like just on death's door. So I remember one time it was a longer race, like maybe going around 2 or 3 times on the track, and the last lap I just couldn't do it. So I stopped and I started walking and tears streaming from my eyes. What did I see from the distance while everyone else was racing past me? But none other than Chris Bosencool comes by my side and he slumps me over his shoulder and he carries me home.
I remember
He
watching
sold
that
a
from the
Lightning
stands.
McQueen.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It was-
Give a
was
round of
wonderful
applause for
time.
Chris right there.
Yeah, round of applause. It was a beautiful moment, although it was very painful for me. I don't know if I even thanked him, but that's what I mostly remember from track and field, was just pain and confusion from trying to find where I'm supposed to be and like what events I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, I always remember that.
I had no idea, so I ended
At the
up missing
specific
like
times, it was so hard.
yeah. I missed like half of my events most of the time, and like by the end, like the last time I did track, I just didn't care. I just missed them on purpose. Because
I think that was all of
nobody
us.
cares.
I think that was all
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter, but like shot put and all those other like was it disc
field.
throwing?
Field events.
Yeah,
Frisbee throw.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
I succeeded at nothing those days. So by the end, I sat myself down, had some stuff from the concession, and watched everyone get all sweaty while I relaxed with the boys.
That sounds how it went.
Yeah.
I remember another funny thing was in the last track and field of middle school, I was getting ready to run the 400-meter, and I went and ran it, and I won the race. But only halfway through the race, I realized that I still had like my track pants on, and they were falling down. So I was running the whole race with my pants falling down, and I somehow managed to win the race. And my pants were like halfway down my legs at the end.
It's like a sack race.
Potato sack race. I still won somehow. It was one of the more lighter moments of those events.
Speaking of sack race, I know an event kind of similar to track and field that I think we all had a lot of fun with was Falcon Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even go to the last one.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd say I
Johnny.
had fun or not.
Johnny, I remember I was leading with you on that last one.
Oh yes.
remember that?
Okay, so this is Liam, do you want to actually tell your story from what happened because you missed the last one?
Oh, no, if you had a story, you could tell first.
Okay, so the story is basically so as grade 7 students, you're supposed to lead a group of the rest of the grades in the class.
Oh, yeah.
Liam skipped out. Liam's group was like
Yeah.
like so Mr. Ferna, our teacher, he was like flipping out like the day that it happened. He's like, "Where's Liam? Like, what? He missed it. He didn't say anything. Like, we need a leader." And like, Johnny, I'm pretty sure didn't you have to do something about it?
I must have blocked this completely from my memory because all I remember is just trying to wrangle up some kids. But
No,
it's all just
I
a
remember
blur.
leading with you, Johnny.
Okay, maybe
You were my sole partner.
because I remember Mr. Fernhout, he might have asked like you guys to like one of you guys to take Liam's team, but like you guys were like, no, we can't. So like
No,
he
thank
was
you, sir.
freaking out that day. He didn't know what to do.
What did he?
I don't know. We never knew what happened. But then Liam came back and like he didn't say anything. But that like
I just sent the kids off. That was in the group.
yeah.
That was so weird. When I
It's
came back,
basically-
I came back after the weekend, and Mr. Furno never said anything to me. But
Maybe he got a grade 6 to lead
Maybe.
the group.
But that day he was like really mad.
the thing was,
I don't blame him.
I wasn't sick on the Friday, but over the weekend I actually became sick. So maybe that's a little bit of bad karma for me.
You were saying, Avery?
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's basically tradition for a grade 7 to lose a kid on Falcons Fest. Like,
It's impossible to keep track.
And Liam lost
Yeah.
the whole group.
Yes, I did.
He succeeded.
I did
He
have
got the most.
I did get my leadership experience the year before because I remember the grade 7 leader in grade 6 was completely useless, and I had to lead the entire group and teach them how to do the games and stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
I had my leadership experience nonetheless.
I think that was the same for me as well. Most of the kids in that grade were incompetent in leading the groups.
honestly, looking back, I don't think that any of us should be, like, in grade 7. I don't think we're, like, good enough to lead a whole group.
I don't think we're eligible.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't care
We had to
about
like
the kids.
I remember like we had to monitor like the kindergartens like money and stuff and help them with like lunch. Like I was like nervous about that. I'm like, what if they buy the wrong thing? They're like confused or something.
I think I left most of my responsibilities to Torn, but when it came time to like ordering people around, I'd jump there and bully them. So I think that's where I got most of my pleasure from. Did we have kids from every grade, or was it like?
It was
Yeah,
every
yeah.
grade from
I think so.
kindergarten
Yeah.
to grade 6.
Ugh, that's just too many. Especially like there was one activity where we go down to the forest and there's like a race or something.
It was like around ropes or something. You're
Yeah.
all tied to
Yeah,
like.
and then they'd knock over themselves and get trapped
Oh,
and stuck, and
Uh,
it's just.
There's
I
one way
remember,
to.
because I'm so competitive, and I just got so frustrated with those, like, little children who just couldn't do it. I'm like, come on! Like, I was yelling at them.
Yeah, I
So
remember. I remember
angry.
being like that too.
Yeah.
Just pick them up and throw them. do the whole race yourself. And then I don't even remember all the events. There was like where like it was like a floor is lava kind of thing where you had to
Yes, on the
get
grass
across.
Mats.
with mats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
We've done
also
that
you have to
multiple
carry.
times.
You have to carry like your group would carry like a giant like
Yeah.
6 foot big tire up a hill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've always strongly disliked that activity. We've done it beyond Falcons Fest, and
Yeah.
every time I just it's not fun for me.
No, I love that one because the tire rolls down as fast as it can, and we're all waiting at the bottom of the hill.
And then one
you
kid
know,
goes in
You
front.
know that one of those kids are gonna get nailed by like the
Yeah.
rolling tire.
But they do it on
A little bit
purpose.
of
They just
bowling.
they just like the pain. They do it on
Yeah.
purpose.
Population control.
They always just get
Yep.
nailed.
Oh yeah. What was it like? We'd be on the field, and then there was like a tire that we'd roll people down or something like that. Like, was it sleds or? I remember being on the field, and there was a race of either
Oh,
pushing the tire
scooters.
up or.
Scooters.
Yeah, the scooters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
Ah.
that's the event that I got the most mad at, like one of the little kids in my group, because he went like into the bushes behind where the event took place, and it was his turn and he never went. And I had to go
And I'm
fish.
pretty
I had to go
sure- I'm
fish him
pretty
out of the
sure-
bush.
For that event, you have to pull up teammates. Like they sit on the scooter, and you sit on the scooter, and one of them has to like pull it up.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
I remember like there was like a grade 6 kid sitting on the scooter, and like a grade 2 kid got stuck pulling the kid up.
No.
It was such an
Oh,
imbalanced
no.
event.
The kids just wanted to be macho, especially if there's like they just wanted to impress people or like
I know.
yeah. They're like
There was no honor in Falcons Fest.
Yeah.
Everyone was a loser by the end of it. Yeah, and then because everybody was in their teams when they announced the awards and everything, everyone would just silently boo and when in the first place was announced. And it was always so
I
hot,
remember-
and we'd stand for like an hour.
It was also always the hottest day of like the school year.
I remember in grade 4 there was one event. Some kids were walking around. One kid's like, "Oh, we won definitely!" Like, because we all were standing in like pods, kind of with our groups. And then one kid from another team came over. They're like, "We won." And then another person's like, "No." And then like I see two teams just like fully shoving one another, and it's starting like like a multiple grade brawl going. And then I remember I
Gang
got pulled
fights.
out. Yeah,
Avery, what color were you?
that year.
Yeah.
I think I was either red or orange. For some reason, red always won.
Blood.
I
Yeah,
remember
red
I
always
was
won.
red. Johnny and I were red.
White always came
Yeah,
last
I always
place.
managed to be on like team white or yellow or something like that. One of the losing teams every year.
It was always white, yellow, or purple that lost.
I think-
And I don't know how, but it always happened that way.
I
And
think
it's like
the
the
best
weirdest
I
thing.
ever got was like 4th place. So bad.
I remember
It
I
really
came
was-
first once.
It was odd.
Were the prizes for that one the little ribbons with like second
Yes,
place?
yes,
or
it was like the
something?
dollar-
Yeah.
Dollar
I
store
hated
printed
those.
ribbons.
I remember for what was it, cross country? Whenever I get, because I'd always get participation, and that'd be for what, like I think first 100 you get your special thing, or was it 50 or something, and then the
It was
rest
the
there-
first 50.
Don't you get a popsicle stick?
Yeah,
Some-
they just handed out
Yeah,
popsicle
yeah,
sticks
yeah.
and stuff. I remember.
as soon as I get that ribbon, I just rip it.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
I think the best I got in like cross country was like 45th or something.
just
That's
under
pretty
the
good
cut.
actually.
That's decent. That's decent.
Yeah. I remember the best I had was grade 4, and it was like 73rd.
Mine was like
Most of the time.
in the 60s or something like that.
Yeah.
Do we even want to talk about mine?
I think we did.
Oh,
Yeah,
Torn.
we
What was
can-
yours,
we can
Torn?
brag
What was
again.
yours?
Okay. So grade 4, I got 6th. I was two people behind Chris. He got 4th.
Mm.
So I was a bit disappointed that he beat me.
Distance
But-
runners.
But in grade 5, I got 7th, and I was the first year Christian. And then I remember it was in grade 6 that I ran with Chris the whole time, and maybe it's because I ran with Chris, or maybe not. But I came 14th and he came 15th, and I remember Chris's places kept on going higher every year, so he kept on getting worse. So maybe because I ran with him, I got worse. Like that was my worst one.
I think you could have won that.
Because the funny thing is, in grade 7, I came 7th again. So
Oh,
yeah,
Ooh. Look at you.
I don't know.
I feel like grade 7 we all did
round of
better.
applause for Torn. Round of applause for Torn.
I remember
bad.
I remember the cross country like race. You know the start. They do the air horn. Everyone goes.
Oh,
and
that's
then there's
chaos.
this
Oh
one
my,
spot.
that's so
there's one spot where it gets skinny, and I feel like every year there's someone who takes a spill, and then there's a massive,
Oh, yeah.
massive
Mud,
pile
like-
up.
yeah.
I always remember, you know how like when they started, it's always on like that field, and the field's so wet, and everyone sprints
Yeah.
down. People like are slipping and wiping out on the
Yeah.
wet field before the races even really started.
No, that was
All the
always,
teachers
like,
are like
my
on the
favorite
line
part.
just laughing at the kids.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my favorite part. Like, one
Yeah.
person goes down, and it's just like everyone goes down behind them.
It
Like,
dominoes.
yeah.
so practically you just wanted to sprint from the start. Because if you didn't get into that little bundle, then you're just not going to do well at all.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
you're
be
not gonna
behind
make top
100
50.
kids.
Yeah, I remember I think I was coming in because at the very end of the race they have a section out where you go single file,
Yes.
and I was going to that point where we're just about to go into single file, and I like just hit the point where there's like we go in the rows, and somebody passed me right as I entered, and I was just, well, I didn't have the energy to care, but the rage within me afterwards boiled through that whole day. But I remember afterwards, after I do those, I just didn't care enough to try, so I just tried to find someone who would talk to me, and we just kind of talk back and forth through the whole race. Someone equally unathletic.
I remember doing that with you a whole bunch, Johnny. Like, not even like cross country, but I remember like in the early middle school days when we'd be
Yeah.
forced to run around the track for like an hour. Me and you
Yeah,
would
yeah,
like
yeah.
we would not even try. We'd just walk around and talk.
Yeah, that's what made it bearable for sure. That's what like the parts that I enjoyed of doing track at all. But then when you're forced to just try to give it your all, I could never really care enough. But same thing for like even running in high school now. I will like when I'm running with a group of other people, I'll always do better, even though I'm like talking and stuff.
Yeah.
By myself, it's just I can't. I don't have the motivation.
Yeah, I remember.
All right.
I wasn't even a bad runner. It's just I never wanted to try because it just wasn't my thing, especially distance. I was fine with sprinting, but distance I just didn't want to do.
Basically, if you were tall, you were fine. Like in the middle school, like end of middle school.
How did
But, like,
Jace do?
But the thing is, like, okay, yeah, he did pretty good all the time. But the thing is, Surrey Christian, most of the kids were really small, and every other school had like giant kids. So like any sport or like any activity, we're all like just losing or like being like overcome by them.
It would be sectioned off in little pods before the race begins, like all the different schools.
Yeah, because I remember
just-
like we were the only school that like the whole school came to those events.
Yeah.
The other schools, they were all
Because
handpicked.
we hosted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
And we always lost still. The hosts
We always lost.
I'm pretty sure now, my brother mentioned, now they handpick it for our school as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about
Just
time.
like track and field was always no Falcons Fast was always like the hottest day. Like cross country was always like
The
cold and
rainiest.
raining.
It was
Always the
like,
wettest day.
always.
Yeah, and then there'd be the hot chocolate booth that everybody would be waiting in line for like half an hour.
And then the
try to warm
overpriced
themselves
pizza
up.
that they would get at lunchtime.
Yeah.
That hot
Yeah.
chocolate
Yeah.
was so hot. Like every year I burnt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like it wasn't just hot.
Well,
was extra hot.
to make the hot more bearable, we can transition into a cooler topic here.
Wow.
smooth. All right. Thorin, you're
Yeah,
the
I
leader
can
of
take
this.
one. Okay, so every year the grade 10s they take a trip up to the Whistler for a ski trip, and all I can remember is just leaving all these boys behind, going up the mountain.
Of
and I
course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
left these boys on the bunny hill, and well, what I've heard from them is that they have actually had a good time, but Isaiah can speak a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
What
So,
happened to him?
so everyone else, so there's groups in like skiing, you know, like there's like the really basic that like if you're like cool guy, there's like
Whoa,
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 Isaiah,
whoa.
this is a family-friendly podcast here.
I'll censor that.
okay,
I'll
sorry.
censor that.
If you're having trouble, you do.
Thank you.
Then there's like the part where like if you're
Hold on. Were you not the one who got stuck in that?
exactly,
that
that's
group
my
the whole
point.
time?
That's my point.
Perfectly describing yourself.
Exactly, I'm describing myself. So
Wait, Isaiah, can you say for me a cool guy so I can replace that over what you said in editing?
cool guy,
You can't even say it right.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna
cool
work.
guy.
Okay, continue.
Okay. So anyway, as we're going, so I remember it's me, Avery, and Liam were in a group at the beginning, and then Avery gets picked off. It's like, and the guy's like, "Hey, Avery, you're doing pretty good. Why don't you go over there?"
No, I remember because I wasn't actually that good. I had never skied before in my life, but I just was going down because I play hockey. So, like, skiing's kind of similar to hockey, just like long skates. But like, I just went down super straight faced, and then did like a hard stop at the bottom, which kind of made everyone think that I was good. But like, I really wasn't. Like
Inflating your own ego.
Yeah, I remember I threw a snowball at the snowboarding group, and then I knocked down the lift thing. Yeah.
You knocked down the lift.
Well, no, I didn't.
The little conveyor
Yeah,
belt lift.
yeah.
It stopped
the
every
conveyor.
5 minutes and
Yeah.
didn't work for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Those are-
Babu also had many instances with that. He took
Okay,
spills.
I fell up the lift.
Just like you fell up the stairs.
Yeah.
That's true.
How do you fall up the lift? What do you mean?
Someone hit me with a snowball, and I was like, and then like you know how like the ski's really long, so my it went out, and then one was in the snowbank, and then it got caught, and then I was like twisted it, and it was like just at the end, and I just like tumbled over.
Oh boy.
I didn't go to the ski trip, so I was just envisioning, you know, like when you go on the conveyor.
It wasn't like that. It was like a little
Okay.
like you know what's it called, like at the airport they have those belts.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the magic carpet?
Yeah, the magic.
Yeah.
Okay, that one. Okay, and so
Right. I was kind of hard. I was picturing, and I couldn't picture it.
yeah,
You had the
So
wrong
anyway-
word. You had the wrong word.
right. Anyway, all these guys move up. I'm there, the last one. Like, people are like, yeah, you could move up actually, but we just want you to stay here and try some different things. So they like use me as a guinea pig, and they're like, okay, how about you jump over this? So I jump over things, and then like, okay, I'm gonna put this thing up high here, and then like they make me jump over it, and then I tumble and like fall, and then like the 3 instructors just laughing at me.
Yes,
like,
good Babu. Be more like Babu.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when I got called. I didn't really want to get called because I was kind of hanging out with the boys, but then
Something else piqued your interest?
Well, I let's just say I had to, you know, I had to go.
You had to run your own agenda.
Yeah. I had other matters to attend to.
Yeah, I remember being like a little bit frustrated on the trip at the beginning because I had skied before, but I signed up to be like on the beginner one so I could be with Avery, and I knew how to do everything that they had taught, and they didn't even move me on before Avery. Avery got to move on before me.
Yeah.
And I knew how to ski, and that frustrated me. But I eventually moved on with the group that was ready to go.
He was a natural.
Liam, you've got a pretty fun story about
with
your group.
At the very end, the last like run we're going down, one of the girls, she went to a different school. She was so excited to go down the hill, and she's like, right before, I love going really fast. And then
Oh no.
and then she goes on ahead of me, and then I don't think much of it until I see her laid out on the middle of the hill.
No.
She hurt herself, her knee or something like that. And then the instructor came along. He's like, okay, guys, we got to stop. We got to make sure that she's okay and stuff. You guys all wait here. And then the instructor, she called like some other of the staff on the hill to go.
So it was like the people in my group, like it was like 3 of them. They got called, and then a snowmobile came by, and then they just hopped on and went to go get that girl. And like I was like so confused. I'm like, what happened?
And then
I'm pretty sure like all the groups kind of like just like that are in that area just like stop what they were doing. And, like, everyone just stay there, wait, okay.
And then my group's like a group of like 10 people just standing in the middle of the hill because the instructor told us to stop, and everyone's getting restless because we were there for like 20 minutes at that time. And then I had enough. So I was like, okay, guys, just follow me. We're going to make it down the rest of the hill. Just take it easy and don't go fast like that girl did. And then we made it down the hill. And that was the end of the ski trip for us.
Yeah. I remember I wrapped it up for my trip. We went up one more level. So we went up to the high gondola part. And that hill, it was a lot steeper. So like it was like every 5 seconds we had to stop because one person had fallen down. And it was usually the same person every time. And it was just the slowest descent because they just kept falling, and we had to stop and wait for them to pick up their skis and all that.
Poor Sam.
All right, guys. So not to brag on any of your stories, but I got a little story on my own.
Time to do it again.
On my own occasion.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so back in February, you know how I go snowboarding very frequently?
I do.
And there's even a few videos on it on Collants Productions if the listeners want to go watch.
Feel free to check out.
All right, so I went up to Apex for the family day weekend, and so I was up on the hill, and I was going up on the chairlift with my uncle and my brother. And my uncle, you would say, yeah, he's a pretty good outdoor enthusiast. So he's got like this big beard, and like he goes down these like crazy cliffs, and he's crazy. So I was told that I could do this double black that he was telling me to do. I was like, okay, let's do this. I could do this. And I did not know what I was getting myself into at the time. But so he tells me to go first, so I do. And I'm ripping down, like I'm feeling good. And I think to myself, I can do this. But suddenly a cliff came up. And this cliff wasn't just like a 5 foot or a 10 foot. This was a 20-foot cliff. And I'm wondering where my uncle is, because like he was going to be behind me, but he's not. And then I look down, and he's already down there. He had gone a different way. I had gone the wrong way. So
No.
So as I was shifting along the edge, because I was just trying to find another way to go down, I make the decision to take my board off because I can't do this with my board on. Like, it's impossible. So, but at that time, my uncle's just telling me to send it. I was like, how am I supposed to send it off this cliff? Like, I can't do that. I'm gonna kill myself.
Come on, boy, come on down. Snow's fine. Your ankles
Yeah,
will
that's
heal.
what he was saying. And I was not prepared to do that. So I started to slide down a little bit, and there's like this little chute. Like I traveled to like 10 meters maybe, and like I found a little chute in between the cliff. Like it wasn't totally cliff at that time because I had shifted, and I was like I can't go down this chute with my snowboard. So I threw the snowboard down. I was not thinking at the time because my uncle was at the bottom of the hill, like down there, and I was not thinking because I don't know, I was just trying to get down the hill. I wasn't really caring about his safety. And as I throw this snowboard down, it just starts flying down the hill, and it almost hit him. And if it would have hit him, it probably would have like, I don't know, not killed him, but like really injured him. So he was torn, and he was like, "Tor, what are you doing?" And then because after that, there's a little avalanche I fell into. Like I was when this in the chute.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is.
series of great events.
I was freaking out. My heart was pumping, and adrenaline was pumping too. And like I like put my foot down, and then there's like a little like shelf of snow, and that's like kind of what like created the little avalanche. Like it wasn't like I know what you guys are thinking, like this massive avalanche that kills people, but it was just this little like shelf of snow that fell down.
There goes your uncle.
But like
Never seen again.
it brought me down towards him, and
You
yeah,
just
it did,
rode it down.
But it wasn't just like this like fun slide. Like it was so nerve-wracking because there's like big boulders on each side of this like thing, and like I didn't really know what to do. But in the end, it brought me
glorious.
down and safely to my uncle, and I
Wow.
lived happy ever after.
See, why didn't you get this on video for the
That's
Apex
that's
video?
the thing. I was I don't know. That was before. That was
Clickbait nearly
yeah, I
killed
know,
my uncle.
exactly.
Wait, hold on.
And
Uncle.
myself.
Uncle,
Yeah,
is that
murder
Mr.
suicide.
Stewart?
That's another.
Okay.
This is our uncle on my mom's side. Yeah.
Ah,
Like he's got this like
Wow.
I don't know, not 2 foot, but like 1 foot beard. It's massive. It's crazy. It's got this totally out.
he's
yeah,
the true
no.
outdoorsman.
I want to live up to his name.
We're glad you're here.
That's
Yeah,
why you want to be
exactly.
like him. When's the beard coming, Tor?
Ooh.
Good question. Can anyone here grow facial hair? Like
Nope.
decently? Yeah.
Absolutely.
None of us can.
Avery, actually, you can't because you only see audio right now. But he has a sick handlebar going on,
Yes.
and I honestly, I think it really works well for you.
That looks great, Ave. It's
Thank you.
starting to look a little bit like a Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
Can
it's really
rival
going well.
Chotu's mustache.
Well, we're glad you're here, Torn. We're glad
Thank
you're
you.
alive and well to make all these beautiful vlogs that will
Yeah.
be coming out on Collants. That all you
I'm
fans
so
could be
excited.
excited
Yeah,
to
every
see.
every week,
a lot of
Wednesday,
content.
guys. There will be another one.
Oh, we got an
Yes.
upload schedule.
Put that on your calendars,
crazy.
folks. Put
That's
that on your
crazy.
Mark
calendars.
it down,
Hey.
make some reminders on your phone. It's good to have
Do not
to see.
forget, turn on post notifications.
This Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
the next vlog will be about finding an abandoned ski resort. So, stay tuned.
Oh,
It's some
boy.
good stuff.
Ooh. An abandoned
yeah,
ski resort.
If we're putting this out this week, then I guess last podcast we hinted at someone, but don't worry, that person's coming. Just you wait. Next time.
They've made a few. We've had a few hints to them in this podcast as well. A few
Yeah.
mentions. They'll be coming soon.
I'll come along. Just you wait. All right, but I think that wraps it up for this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. Always has been. Always will. And
Yeah, just share it if you liked it. Share it if you didn't like it. And thank you all for listening, as usual.
Thank you, folks.